gentlemen, welcome to tonight's main event, the Eating Leather Podcast, sanctioned by the Sports Narrative Network. Let's meet the combatants. In this corner, weighing in at a svelte 300 pounds, Brian, the paper champ, Henning. And in this corner, weighing in at 195 pounds, your host and cruiserweight champion of the world, Dynamite, Darren Boyd. And welcome to another fine episode of the Eating Leather Podcast. I am the producer, Jeff Bowers, frantically trying to get things on the air, along with my good friend and co-host, who I just realized his camera is not working, and he is not actually on this show right now, but we are pulling him up as we speak, the cruiserweight champion of the world, straight from the hospital, your host, Dynamite Darren Boyd. Darren, what's happening, brother?
Well, after all my surgeries, I'm down to 183, but we're getting back in the gym November 21st, and we're going to put some weight back on to get up to cruiserweight status so I can get back in the arena and get age 49. So I'm looking forward to it.
Hey, we hopefully are talking to somebody that just came out of retirement, so, you know, things could be much worse. So, yes, good day of football, good day of boxing. We had a nice fight we're going to touch on a little bit later with any luck last night in Saudi Arabia with, of course, the regular boxing controversy that is all that implies. You can find this show, of course, on YouTube.com, which is probably where you're seeing it right now. Find that YouTube.com/The Sports Narrative. It is part of the Sports Narrative empire and network. And you will find that under Alt Sports and the Eating Leather Podcast. Of course, you can find us on the Twitters as well. You can find this silly guy there at Darren Boyd 13, complete with Dolphins colors with a nice Dolphins win today. I am, of course, at Sports...
6-2. 6-2, as my daughter says.
That's right. I am, of course, at Sports Narrative, the originator, none better, the greatest of all time. H to the Izzo. So we have ourselves a time here, Mr. Boyd, as we are hopefully going to talk to another former champion on this show, who we will name in just a minute. Hopefully he will pop on with us here. But yeah, the ranks grow. We continue to get big name guests. Hopefully we'll have some more big name guests. I do still hope to get back friend of the show Al Bernstein at some point on this thing.
Yes, that's going to happen. He's excited to pop back on again.
Yes, as the most talented unemployed man we know these days. Yes, I would like to see get old Al on here and talk about the end of Showtime boxing and them closing up ranks there. Of course, we have a number of friends in the Showtime universe that are out of work now, I think. So we heard from Raul.
That's true.
Raul Marquez.
Our beloved Barry Tompkins and Raul Marquez. But they will both land good gigs real quick.
Oh, there's no question. I mean, Barry. Who knows? Maybe Barry hangs it up, man. He's got a sweet gig there in Sausalito. You know, he's got a nice house. There's no reason for him to keep working unless he just wants to. And of course, Raul. He's got his son, the official prospect of the show.
Oh, our official prospect of the show, Gio.
Yep, Gio out
knocking
there.
people out, making names, and building his fan base.
And, man, he's getting that. He like we talked about with Raul last time, is he needs that extra little juice, man. He needs to put on some shows so he starts getting noticed and moving up. And, man, he sure did that last fight. That was great. So, yeah. Put on a show, got the knockout, did it with a little flair, and yeah. Do we have anything to announce on him yet, or is there anything official we can announce there yet?
Nothing we can officially announce.
Ah, well, insider sources say that Gio is well on his way to...
Well, we have the best insider source about his career himself, so yes.
I mean, there is that. So, yes, for sure. Okay, so,
Well, until
uh,
our guest pops on, I guess we should talk about the doings yesterday, which was exceeding our expectations. And thanks to unnamed sources who provided us that entertainment off the record, wow, that was an amazing fight.
yeah, Fury and Ngannou, with, of course, Ngannou coming from the UFC ranks, not somebody you would think. I mean, we've seen UFC fighters try to make the transition before, and none of them have done it successfully. But man, Ngannou put in the work. I mean, that was the other thing is, you went into the fight and you thought, okay, well, Fury's just going to toy with him for a bit and then take him out whenever he
Mm-hmm.
wants to, right? But of course, the hardest hitting man in the world, currently holding the record in Francis Ngannou, um, with a Superman punch that he did not quite successfully land, but he did attempt it. So good for him. I mean, when you're in the 10th round, if you can still jump off your feet and throw a punch, more power to you, brother. But
I think the Superman punch was the highlight of the fight outside of Fury getting dropped in round three.
well, that's the thing is like, so you had, like I said, normally these UFC fighters, they get in there, they're only used to going 3 rounds. They have their problems, and they kind of get, once they get taken out to the deep end, as we like to say on this show, they usually can't swim. But man, Ngannou did nothing but hang in there. Caught him with a left early on, which, by the way, according to official sources, they have, out of the Fury camp, they have credited that to a rabbit punch. I don't know what I think about that, but
Yeah,
fine,
about that.
fine.
That was clean above the ear. That was a clean left hook. And for strategy purposes, I don't understand why Fury stayed in the southpaw stance as long as he did. He was dropping after he double jab. He dropped that right hand down to his waist, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you're gonna get crushed with the left hook. And as you called it, boom, he went down.
And
That
that's
was a
it.
clean punch. Period. End of discussion.
Man, and it's one of those things where we, obviously, I mean, I wish we had put a little few M&Ms on that thing just ourselves, but like I said, I thought he looked, Ngannou looked professional. He had the jab going. He withstood the early flurry that, obviously Fury
Yes.
looked like he was going to come in there and just like, okay, let me just end this thing. Couldn't do it. Then starts getting the timing right, and like that was the thing, is you thought, okay, well, this is a UFC fighter, he's unconventional, but once he got the timing down, once he got Fury's timing down, and like you said, every time Fury came in for a fight, as he left, he took punishment. Every time he was trying to get out, and he couldn't get out quick enough, and Ngannou would hit him with a couple of shots as they got out of the clinch, and then he wouldn't let the big boy lean on him.
Yep.
I think the refs had a lot to do with that as well. Trying to keep that from coming a wrestling match, and look, to the refs' credit, like, you got a UFC guy in there. You don't know if he's going to put him in a sleeper hold. So like, you gotta watch that type of thing. But the refs were on it, which I think hurt Fury's cause as well. And like you said, then they caught him with the left in the second round, and he hung in there. Now, obviously, the results were what they always are, right? I mean, look, this is a Saudi audience. This is a Saudi fighter. This is setting up for the next fight. As you saw, Usyk sitting in the crowd. The Saudis ain't about to give away that money. So there was no
Nope.
way they were going to let him lose that.
And also today we found out that the Fury Usyk fight is in serious trouble. They were supposed to go December 23rd. Fury's camp is like, we're going to have to take a little time off because he was woefully out of shape for this fight, even though he posted pictures of him training and all that good stuff. And now Usyk saying, hey, if you don't go December 23rd, you're violating your contract, and we're going a different direction. So boxing fans, don't get your hopes up for a Usyk Fury fight in the near future, if ever.
Well, I will say that, I mean, look, they're saying that he would be vacating and that Usyk would get the titles if he violates the contract. So he'd be vacating belts. So, I mean, maybe that's enough of an incentive.
When neither one of those guys is getting $50 million a year, they don't really care about belts. So, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
Money talks.
and the other thing about it.
Just like Riddick Bowe throwing his belt in a trash can to avoid fire.
Oh, and Darren hit the hang-up button, so there he goes. Well, we're back to me now. That's okay. Back here on the Eating Leather podcast. I am your host, Jeff Bowers, as we will reconnect with Mr. Boyd here momentarily. But as he was saying, like the thing about it is, and where I was about to go with that is, if there is any way that look, obviously you've got all the stuff going on in the Middle East right now, but the Saudi royal family, they don't want to give away. They're spending money hand over fist. Obviously, with Live Golf, with all the things that are happening right now, all the money they put into soccer. They want to spend money. They want to have this fight. They need the PR, as it were, right? And so, there's Mr. Boyd coming back. So I don't think, if it comes down to the Saudis want to be back on here, and here's Mr. Boyd back from the abyss. Did you hit the hang up button there, bud? Oh, he's not back sound-wise yet. You're still muted, bud. Unmute. There you go.
There we go. Yeah, I got kicked off as usual. Yep. Just when I get rejected by all women.
Exactly. Okay, so what I was saying is,
I'm a Dolphins fan. They're like, sorry about that.
What I was saying is that with the Saudi government and what they're wanting to do right now by spending the money, by all of this type of stuff, like, man, they don't want they want to spend this money. They don't, and obviously all that's going on in the Middle East right now, like, they want to spend the money. So I don't think there's any way they don't want to have this fight with Usyk and Fury. So if Fury backs out of this, man, he might be really hurting himself.
That's a very valid point. It was kind of interesting last night to see all the Saudi Arabian dignitaries out there, and like you said, they've invested. I mean, they have trillions. So what's $100 million for a fight? It's a drop in the bucket for them.
It's true. Oh, I'm turning you upside down, Mr. Boyd. Hang on. Trying to get the camera right.
Oh, well, that'd be an improvement.
Oh, well, you just did a 360, so you're welcome.
Hey, is that a Jason Kidd 360 or is that a 180? You never know.
You never know. You can never tell.
Hope you get that reference.
Yes, of course. Okay, so
thank you.
What? Like I said, I think for me, it's one of these situations where I think the Saudi royal family is going to want this fight to happen, and so I don't know that Fury's going to be able to get out of it. I think that's pretty fascinating. Did you watch any of the undercard on that fight?
I did. I watched Joseph Parker destroy his guy. Joseph Parker, a guy I've had my as many opportunities. He was one of my top prospects about 7 years ago. Never been able to take it to the next level. He kind of knocks on the door. Good power. Good speed when he's in shape, and he's got probably at age, 34 or 35, he's got probably one more chance left, so we'll see if he keeps going on. And then there were the young guys, young heavyweights, Wembley, and, oh dear Lord, I forgot the guy he knocked out, but you've probably seen that.
Yeah,
I do have a breaking news for you. Our guest is popping on real quick.
Perfect. I was going to mention the other fight there.
We had a miscommunication. He was told a different time, but yes, he'll be popping on real quick.
I thought that too, but you rushed me, so here we are. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, so so you also had the Foster and Hernandez fight with a massive comeback there, where we had a late stoppage, despite the fact that Hernandez was winning that fight. I mean, had that fight in the bag, and then you get a stoppage at 2:38 in round 12 for a late decision win for the what was that, lightweight? What are those boys? Featherweight, super featherweight fight. So yeah, that was.
And real quick before our guest pops on, I got two things to mention. By the way, Amanda Serrano went the distance in 3-minute rounds for the first time in female boxing. And today is the 30th anniversary of Tommy the Duke Morrison versus Michael Bent where Dad and I drove from Austin up to Tulsa, and Tommy got famously knocked out in 93 seconds. Dad and I were talking about that epic road trip. As Michael Bent said, the best thing was that you and Dad got to spend that much time together versus me knocking out Tommy Morrison.
Oh, man.
I'm still efforting to get Michael Bent on the show because he's a great human being.
That's amazing. Well, as we're waiting for the guest to pop on, let's talk a little bit about this event that we're going to be talking about here, and that would be, as I masterfully work the thing here, from the great Lou DiBella and DiBella Entertainment, we have ourselves a nice little card here, and it is called Heroes at the Hudson. And you're going to see, as you walk in the door, you will have a number of amateur fights on the card starting at 5:30 Eastern Time at the Edison Ballroom at 240 West 7th Street. 5:30 will get you in is when doors open. Your tickets do include an open bar, which everyone but Mr. Boyd appreciates mightily. And
I have to live vicariously through you when we call it the Lou Fighting Frisco when it comes to adult beverages, but the Lou takes care of his people.
No doubt. And then we have a couple of big-time fights on this card, as one is a former guest of this show in Sharita Metcalf. Did you know Sharita's fighting in this?
Our girl, we're going to get her on soon when we do our women's boxing show, which isn't going to happen because I committed my daughter. We are going to do it, so I'm excited to get her on the show. She was awesome to meet after the fight when she hung out with us for 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
A great lady.
And she was, super nice. Fort Worth's own Sharita Metcalf fighting for the vacant IBF Intercontinental Bantamweight Championship against Mio Yoshida. In a 10-round fight.
And she brings the A game. Man. She comes forward.
And that's the thing. It's like in that fight, we were watching the fight, and we didn't know either of these boxers at the time. And, she was taking some punishment
kind of
early.
Blew away, but that was okay.
Yeah, she took some punishment early. But then as the fight went along, man, she did really great. I was very impressed with her. And so... Let's see. Let's bring you on here as well.
If we had enough time, I would have gotten her on the show today. But, us and our media obligations on Sunday, our times are very limited because both of us actually have jobs that consume most of our week.
So, yeah, no kidding.
Now, if anyone wants to sponsor the show, reach out to the Sports Narrative at x.com, and he'll be more than happy to quit his day job if you pay him $200,000 a year.
No question about that. So, yes, Tuesday, November 7th. The Edison Ballroom on 240 West 7th Street. 5:30 p.m. is when it opens. It will be streamed live on DAZN, D-A-Z-N. You can, of course, get your tickets at telecharge.com, which you will see on the screen right there. And as I said, all tickets include the open bar as well. And all proceeds from this fight go to benefits Merging Vets and Players and the West Point Society. So we're going to, obviously, with good veteran charity causes, Lou is always about that charity as well, but telecharge.com is where you want to go for your tickets if you're in the New York area or you're just visiting and you want to go, you're in Broadway, you want to go see some fighting, man, there's nothing like it, nothing like the greatest city in the world with the greatest sport in the world. So, yes, please check that out. Let's see, what else do we have here? And then, of course, the headline fight of this will be our next guest, as we will have our good friend and a military veteran on this card, making it extra special for the Heroes at the Hudson. In fact, I saw in some of the promotional material they were saying, like, look, every year Canelo's fighting on Mexican Independence Day. You've got your guys that that have their big events. You got the big event in New York every year with the the Puerto Ricans and all of that. This one for our next boxer,
Except for this year, December 9th is not after the Heisman night in New York. It's in Miami, or right outside of Miami, Florida. And our beloved Xander Zayas will be on the card, but I don't know if it's officially been announced yet, so I will not comment further.
But, you've got the Puerto Ricans, you got the Cubans, like I said, down in Miami. There's nothing wrong with that at all, and I think that's going to be a fantastic event. But this one, so close to Memorial Day, Veterans Day, on November
Wow.
11th. Yeah, it's
I
like
was like, oh no, you put us back in Texas with 110-degree heat. Why would you do this, sir?
exactly.
It's 43 degrees and raining today. It's a great day in Dallas.
It is. But yes, the Tuesday, November 7th, just ahead of Veterans Day, the Heroes on the Hudson live on DAZN, and we will probably, maybe we'll live stream it. Want to live stream it?
Oh, I will be free for sure after 7:30 our time, so we'll make it happen.
Yeah, so maybe we'll
This
pop
was a
in.
great USA Tuesday Night Fights back in the day for our older audience that gets our reference.
Yeah. Oh, hey, here we are.
There we go.
Here it is. Our
champ is
guest
coming
has
on.
arrived as we have vamped long enough. Let's see if we get him pulled up here. There he is, rocking the Yankees hat.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, champ?
Everything's good. How's it going?
Well, my Dolphins are 6-2, and you and Jeff have something to talk about here coming up real quick.
That's
and
right.
We'll
I like
your
this.
big fight
Yeah. I was just on the phone with my wife saying, I was like, listen, I'm going to brag about how we beat your Giants today because every year I got to hear about the Giants. And I got
yeah, man. Man, I think that took years off my life, but it was a good fight nonetheless. It was
Yes,
good.
it was.
All right, well, let me introduce you properly, champ. Here we go. A native of Rockville Center, New York. Coming from a family of military veterans, our next guest is a proud Marine, signing up in the wake of 9/11 and serving 2 tours in Iraq, while balancing a burgeoning amateur boxing career. By 2012, he was winning the gold medal at the Olympic trials. He was the only U.S. Marine to compete in the London Olympics in 2012, as well as the first active duty member since 1992. Despite seeing major intense fighting in places like Fallujah over there, he turns pro and goes on to win the WBO junior lightweight title in 2019, defending it several times. He held until 2021, where they lost to Shakur Stevenson. Then he hits a little retirement, and now look at him. Back from retirement with a career record of 23 wins and 4 losses with 11 knockouts. It is our privilege and our pleasure, a man who has dealt with tragedy, adversity, and embodies perseverance. Ladies and gentlemen, Jamel Semper Fi Herring. What's up, man?
Yeah.
Everything's good, man. Thank you for having me on. Thank you.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Happy to have you here. So yeah, we got you. We just did our intro. We just talked about the Heroes on the Hudson fight. So,
Yes, sir.
So coming back out of retirement, I'm going to hand these things off here to Darren and let him talk about this thing. Go, Darren.
Okay.
Well, champ, at age 37, I'm 49 and decrepit, so it impresses me when someone at age 37 still can compete for a title. What brings you back to chase a championship again?
I just missed it. I missed the game. I still have the hunger. I keep myself in shape, and more importantly, I just keep myself disciplined throughout the year. I don't do much. I spend more time with just the family, staying active with the community. I go down to the gyms, check on the kids, and I love to see how they're working, and they actually motivate me. So it's one. And plus, on top of that, when you commentate every other week or so with Top Rank, you're up close with the fights, you get that itch again,
Yeah, definitely get that itch. Now you're fighting a gentleman who I can't really take seriously with the name of Saint Nick, 13-4. I was struggling to find tape on him. Obviously, the power is a little suspect. Are you able to unveil any inside information on the game plan, or do we need to keep that on the low key?
I mean, the game. For honestly, the game plan is just go in there and just box. I've seen footage. He's going to do a lot of running. Especially, I guarantee, especially when I touch him, he's probably going to take off running. The kid is undefeated. Though he is undefeated. So I give him that. So he's probably going to be a little bit. He's probably going to look at this as if this is a lottery ticket. type of moment, fighting a former world champion, of course. So I have to take that into consideration. But at the same time, experience. I think experience will play out, and we'll go from there.
Now, are you allowed to talk about it? Have you had to cut any weights to get this fight, or are you pretty much staying the same shape?
Listen, my weight is perfect. I mean, I actually was close to my weight a couple of weeks ago. Matter of fact,
Nice.
I actually had to put on weight because I still had to continue sparring, and I've been sparring with with bigger individuals in the ring, and higher weight classes. So of course, my trainer and I thought it was just smart just to put on some more weight. But I've been gradually, getting the weight down, and it's been a great camp. I don't have to really focus so much on weight. If anything, I have to just focus on getting better and tuning up things.
Now, as far as the cardio goes, how many miles a day are you logging?
I average from maybe like 3 to 5, depending on how I'm feeling. I learned from working with Terrence Crawford. In that team, 3 miles is pretty much the max they want you to do. But some days I just feel good. I just feel like I should continue just to run and just to clear my head, and I listen to my music. And at times I will go over my limit, like, oh man, I missed my turn, so I missed my turn. Let me go back a little bit and go back home. But yeah, I just been feeling good. I just feeling great.
Now, speaking of your playlist, as I'm rocking the official Run to Jewels, the official rap group of our podcast, what's your playlist when you're doing the long road work?
You know me, I listen to everything. Like I can go from honestly type of people. I can go from David Bowie to Jay-Z.
Ooh,
just like that.
nice.
I came out. I remember a couple of years ago, I had to come out to David Bowie's Fame.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
I got Foo Fighters in my playlist, so I listen to everything. Because I come up from I'm a '90s kid, so I look at it at this like I feel like that's like one of the greatest eras at that point. Even listening like '80s music and up from my parents listen to. So at that point in time in era, it was like if anything was good and it sounded good, I would always just listen to it, and it just stayed with me. So I'm more of like one of those guys who just listen to like what I grew up on, and I go from there.
So you and Jeff have now become best friends. You're both Jets fans and Jay-Z fans.
That's right.
Jeff, take it away. What kind of questions do you have for our champ?
Okay, so since we just talked about the walk-up music, what'd you think of Fury walking out to Jolene by Dolly Parton? I don't know if you got to see any of the fight.
Tyson Fury is just a unique individual overall. So I actually been to a couple of his fights live, so it always impresses me to it's always like a thing like. Let's see what he's going to come out to, because Tyson Fury always has something different every time he comes out to one of his walkouts. So again, and I'm the same way. Like I don't stick with just one genre.
Yeah.
I think for me it's depending how I'm feeling during that week, and I usually pick my song from there. I don't ever because people always ask me, so what are you coming out to? And I'm like, I don't really pick and choose. I just go from what I'm feeling at that time point in time, and I just say, hey, play this when I'm coming out. I mean. I might even go from, Frank Sinatra. I did it my way, you know what I mean? That's the type of person I am. Like I did it like it's this way I'm feeling. Like I did it my way, you know what I mean? Or Frank or New York. I mean, this is what I mean. This type of person that I am. That's just how I am.
Just not the Liza Minnelli
you
version,
have
right?
become the first fighter that's ever come out to Frank Sinatra that we've ever interviewed. So you go even higher than the level I had you at now.
That's right.
Jeff, go ahead. I cut you off. I'm sorry,
I was just
buddy.
saying, just not the Liza Minnelli version. That's what they play after the Yankee loses. So we can't have that, right? So in fact, man, this venue, so amazing. Obviously, right there, the Edison Ballroom, New York, November 7th, right there in front of Veterans Day. What does that mean to you? Obviously, as coming from a family of vets and all that.
It's a great feeling, and knowing that it's a great cause behind the entire card. Because remember, at one point in time, I could afford September. But, Lou DiBella and everyone thought that it'd be great to wait till around Veterans Day week. Also, I'm a United States Marine, so the Marine Corps birthday is November 9th. So it all plays, it's all right there. It all fits together. So, I mean, it's an honor. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, a lot of great Mexican fighters, they have Mexican Independence Day.
Yep.
Cinco de Mayo, they have their things. So why not have an American who served to have, Veterans Day. I fought on Memorial Day weekend. I fought on 4th of July, 4th of July weekend.
Yes,
so that's just my thing. That's just my theme. So I had no issue with it. It's a great thing.
Yeah, man. And again, thank you for your service and all of that, and your family as well.
Thank you.
And obviously, things in the world being the way they are, and it's a fraught time. So we gotta support our troops every way we can. For sure. So
thank you.
Yeah. So like I said, I think with this card, like, what does it mean for you to fight? Like, how many times have you fought back in the city, right? Like, how many times do you get to
That's the thing. I think it's also a great thing I'm fighting back at home. I mean, I grew up in Long Island, from Coram, New York. And it's rare. I think it's rare. I haven't fought in New York since 2018. 2018
Oh, wow.
when Lomachenko fought Jorge Linares at the Garden.
Mm.
So it's been a while, and also, like, my goal is from here to also one day headline at the Garden. The mecca of boxing. So that's always been one of my dreams. So I hope right here this is a great start where I can actually even finish out my career saying, hey, I got the headline at the Garden before I called it a day.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah, I got the family. We're heading to New York for Christmas. So I think.
Yeah, my daughter wants to go back to she's been, like, right now I live out in Cincinnati, and she wants to go home. Wants me to take her to New York. She's 10 years old, so she watches all the that time of the year comes around now when all the Christmas movies are coming around, and she says she wants to go to New York for the holiday season just to see the trees light up and everything like that, and that nature. So I gotta take my little girl to New York soon after I handle business.
That's what. Handle your business. Then we'll all be in New York, and you know what? I'll see you at the Jets game when Rodgers comes back on Christmas Eve against Washington. Let's go. As we sneak our way into playoffs and then win the whole thing, right?
Listen, one game, one win at a time. I'm one win at a time. I was heartbroken when we lost Aaron, but hey, we're still hope. There's still hope.
Hey, man, dude, he's coming back. Like, okay, so what's the biggest injury you've ever had to, like, come back from? Like, actually hurt, like, really had to, like, do the rehab and all that stuff?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that one again.
I was saying, what's the biggest injury you've had to come back? Because obviously, Rodgers coming back from the Achilles with this crazy regimen.
I believe in 2016, after my fight with Denis Shavkov, it was actually my first defeat, but to me, it took as a lesson. But I was, like, badly injured in that fight, and I had to take a lot of time off.
Dang.
Just to really come back. But being a United States Marine and just having that dog in me, and I just kind of, like, sucked it up, and I made it a mission to better myself each and every day while I was healing to get back. And when I did come back around February of 2017, because I got injured. Yeah, I got injured in July 2016, and I had to wait till all the way to February of the
Wow.
Yeah, and I came back, and I think I got a knockout victory in, like, the third in 3 rounds or so.
Nice.
So there was one of those things where I never gave up on myself. I never stopped believing in myself, and I made it a mission to get back in the ring.
That's great. Yeah. Speaking of having that dog in you, you mentioned Bud Crawford.
Yes.
Man, nobody got more dog than Bud Crawford. What'd you think of that? The fight here? Obviously, that was our last event.
It's crazy because Errol Spence was actually one of my Olympic teammates from 2012 team.
That's right. That's right.
And Errol, we've been very close throughout the year, so it was kind of hard for me.
Right.
To really, like, really was. So I was in the middle, but again, I just know Terrence. They're both tremendous athletes. One, I told Errol after the fight, he's nothing to be ashamed of. He fought one of the best guys in the world, and he at the time was considered one of the best himself. So that's what boxing needs more. Anyway, we need more of the best fighting the best, so we can see who's the guy at the top of the game. But again, shout out to Terrence Crawford. He's taught me so much when I was training alongside with him, and just how to take care of my body and myself outside the ring. Like, Bud doesn't do a lot of partying. He doesn't drink at all.
Yep.
No smoking. Like, his main goal is just focus solely on boxing and family. And you see a lot of that just watching his social media. But I picked up a lot of things from Terrence Crawford, where, like, if you're going, you got to live boxing. You can't just be, say you're a boxer, but you out here doing other crazy things in the world. So I owe a lot. And then Terrence Crawford and the team, they helped me win my first world championship. So I'm always going to have love and support for them.
Darren? Oh, Darren, I lose you? Oh, I got you. Can you hear me? All right. Well, I guess we lost Darren. Oh, Darren dropped off. All right, we'll bring him right back in just a second. So,
Okay.
So Jamel, so
I can't hear right now.
oh, we lost all of you. Hang on, just a sec. See what we got here. So we can get this sound back up and running here. Just a sec. All right, you got me now. Oh, here comes Darren again. Just a sec.
Okay.
We'll yeah, I think we got it back up there. Yep, Darren's back. All right, so yeah, I was just pulling up.
Sorry, I got cut off for a second. I'm back.
You're good. Okay.
It's all right. It's all right.
You got a question for Jamel? Go for it.
Did Jeff ask you? Do you think there's going to be a difference at Crawford Spence at 154?
I honestly, like I said, I don't think so, in my opinion. And like I said, I love both the guys to death, but I just think that Terrence Crawford, no matter what weight you put him at, it's not so much with the weight. It's about the skill and the game plan that comes with. I mean, I believe that Errol's going to make more adjustments and fight a little harder and probably feel a little stronger. But again, with a guy like Terrence Crawford, he's going to make the right adjustments to take away Errol's strengths in that ring and go from there.
Yeah, we've had Derek James on a few times, and he's been a little rough patch as far as training people, but I still think he's a phenomenal trainer. I'm very intrigued.
Yeah, Derek is a good guy. Derek is a good guy. He's a good trainer. I mean, he was trainer of the year, I believe, twice. So you can't take that from him. I mean, he just had a rough year. But again, guys are still going down there to train with him because Derek James knows how to train fighters. I just think that in terms of Terrence Crawford, he's just one of those special fighters that you get every so often.
It's like Emmanuel Stewart. He didn't win every fight, but everyone puts him on a pedestal, rightfully so.
Right. And same with Freddie Roach. Yeah. But you can't take away the things that they have done. I mean, no one's perfect in the game.
Did y'all, while I was gone, discuss Fury fight last
No,
yesterday?
we did not. We did not.
All right, fire away on your thoughts.
I was kind of shocked on that one. Because Tyson Fury, let's be honest, he had a bigger fight around the corner with Alexander Usyk, waiting for him just a couple of months from today. So you would think that he would not go in and play with a guy, like Francis, and I thought he was just gonna carry the fight a bit and then get rid of him, but it turned out to be a real fight. And in my humble opinion, I thought Francis kind of pulled it out. I mean, with the knockdown, and he was basically pushing the fight, especially in those later rounds. I thought he pulled it out, but again, I mean, how I wouldn't say it's a robbery because it was close down to finish, I guess. But again, I thought Francis had pulled out the victory, and he should have rightfully so got the nod.
As we said on the show here,
I've got a funny story for you, real quick. I know you were born in the '90s. Tommy Morrison was my favorite fighter. And he got an $8 million payday on the line to fight Lennox Lewis in 1993 on this date. Yes, Dad and I made the road trip from Austin, Texas to Tulsa. And right before the bell rang, Dad was like, it'd be funny if Tommy lost. I'm like, that won't happen.
Was it Michael Bent? Michael, yeah.
Yes, Michael Bent. That is correct.
I was watching that fight not too long ago, and I was like, $8 million down the drain, man. $8 million.
Yeah.
How would you handle losing $8 million in 93 seconds? I could never overcome that.
$8 million in the 90s was a lot of money. $8 million is still a lot of money today, so I can imagine how it was in the 90s. So I think I'd be crushed myself. I don't even want to think about it. But yeah, and on top of that, the fight for the undisputed, championship of the world, it was, I don't know, that's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah. Sure.
And everyone in his camp at the time was like, don't take this fight. You don't need it. Just wait till March. But we know his well-documented history outside of the ring. We're a family show. We don't bring that up. But, yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
Got $1.5 million to lose an $8 million payday.
Yeah, we talked about on the show, there was no way if the Saudi royal family had anything to do with that fight, there was no way they were going to let Fury win that on the judges' scorecards,
Oh yeah, I mean, that's how I looked at it played out. Like there was no way. It was just other than a black eye for the because we haven't had an undisputed heavyweight champion since Lennox Lewis.
Yep.
And that was about 20 years ago now. So you got to look at it like that. They're like, hey, they probably doing the best for business in that situation. But again, I thought Francis did a hell of a job, and I would like to see him fight again as a professional boxer. I thought he did good.
Man, I thought he was great. I mean, for a UFC guy to be able to step over like that, I mean, that's the first time we've really seen that where, because usually the UFC guys come in, they try to punch big, and, they run out of gas. And, man, I tell you what, he put in the work. And props to him, man.
He did.
And that camp,
He did.
man, big time props for that. So that's great.
Yeah, credit to him and his team and Iron Mike. They did a great job with him, and I hope they continue working together in the future.
So you got this fight ahead of you. What's after that, man? What are you looking for, like, just beyond the horizon?
I want to go on a European tour, meaning that I want to fight guys like Joe Cordina for the IBF world title. If I can't get Joe Cordina, I want to fight Josh Warrington. I believe he's moving up. He fought and beat Carl Frampton. I beat Carl Frampton. I would like to fight Lee Wood, who beat Josh Warrington. So I definitely would like to fight those three individuals if it's up to me, honestly. And if I can't get those guys, I would like to fight the one in between Hector Garcia and Lamont Roach. Lamont Roach has expressed that he would love a rematch with me since I'm the only man to defeat Lamont Roach. And if Lamont Roach gets the WBA title, and he's a good friend of mine, I would love to do that rematch again. But yeah, definitely right now, my team and I, we're looking at the Europe. The UK has always been big with boxing, so we would like to fight Joe Cordina, Lee Wood, Josh Warrington, any of those guys. And like I said, again, fighting on the zone, I think it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
With Lou DiBella making the fights with Eddie Hearn, but again, and I also maybe Emmanuel Navarrete. I still consider Top Rank as a family because I commentate with those guys. So I would love to fight any of those champions, but that's just my wish list that I have in mind after I get through Nick Molina.
Now we have a prospect on our show, Xander Zejas, who fights for Top Rank. What are your thoughts on X? We love him.
I love him. That's my little brother. I love him. I love his parents are great. It's crazy because Xander is, to my eyes, a top contender, and he's still a kid. He just hit 21. He just turned 21.
He barely can buy a beer.
Yeah, exactly. But I think Top Rank did a great job grooming him from the time he was a teen. And they slowly moved him. They didn't rush him, and they've done great with him. And he's grown. He's grown into a man now. And I think Xander Zayas could be a great contender and a champion someday as well. So I love Xander.
I've got him as the next Tito, and I have to be talked off the ledge. But he's got pretty much the same combinations. He's got it. Whatever you know as a fighter, there's it, and you either have it or you don't.
I mean, and Puerto Rico's definitely looking for that next big star, of course. So I think I'm with you on that one. I believe that Xander could be that next Tito in Trinidad to take over for and represent Puerto Rico going into the future.
Now, if you had to go in the past, any era, who would you love to fight?
Oh man, I think honestly, if I'm being honest, I always believe that the older eras are a lot tougher than what we see today because those guys had to fight everybody. I mean, people could say what they want to say even about guys like Oscar De La Hoya today, but Oscar De La Hoya, like back in the mid 90s, early 2000s, he was fighting everybody as well. He was fighting Chavez and those guys. And yes, those guys probably out the door, but at the same time, he was willing to fight. He's willing to fight anyone to be the next star to take the mantle and go into the future. And we don't see enough of that today. I look at guys like Pernell Whitaker that I respect.
Oh, Sweet Pete.
Yeah, Bernard Hopkins is another. Eric Morales, he was one of my favorites growing up. Even though he beat my current trainer Wayne McCullough. He beat
Pocket
Wayne.
Rocket.
Yeah, the Pocket Rocket. But man, again, that was I think I would fight one of those guys if I had the opportunity because that's around my weight. The Eric Morales of the world. But again, those guys are so tough and they really had a lot of dog in them, and they was fighting everyone. There was like really no tune-ups for those guys. They was fighting rematches against each other, the Barreras of the world, the Hassim, you know what I'm saying, the Caprice Nassim and all those guys. So it was fun. So I mean, again, I just even now at night I would literally sit in my room and I would just watch tape from guys from the '80s, from and all the way up to today's world. Even guys like Shakur, I love Shakur Stevenson, but I love to watch how he's developed as a fighter in his own right.
Yeah, for sure.
Jeff, I lost my headset for a second.
Oh, you're good. I got you. So obviously, being from New York, you know, New York's produced some amazing boxers over the year. What's I mean, have you met Tyson?
I still can't hear you, Jeff.
Oh no!
I can't hear it, Jeff.
Oh man, we're losing it here. Like I said, we got get Darren back on here a minute. I think that's something to do with the connection there. You got me? Hear anything? Nope. All right, hang on just a sec. All right, we'll promote the deal here while we're here. So remember, you can see this guy right here on your screen, Jamel Semper Fi Herring, as he will be headlining the Heroes at the Hudson event. It is at the Edison Ballroom, 250 West 7th Street. Doors open at 5:30 p.m. You can get your tickets at telecharge.com.
Okay, we got Darren back on.
Yep, we got him back on. We got.
There we go. I'm sorry. I've never had this much struggles.
No, you're good.
That's all right, Darren.
I apologize.
Hang on, I'm in the middle of the.
Coming across like a bunch of amateurs.
Yep, I'm in the middle of the read.
Jeff had lost his sound too.
Yeah, I was saying when you drop, it drops his sound too.
Oh, excellent.
Okay, hang on. So,
excellent.
Edison Ballroom, 240 West 7th Street. It will be streamed live on
We're coming across as amateurs tonight, but we'll edit
right.
this part.
It's Sunday, so it's not like I'm not in a rush to go anywhere anyway. Like I said, I got time.
So
now, when you analyze, there he is. I'll
you got me now?
there in a second.
Okay, good. Okay, well, I've been talking this whole time, so hang on just a sec.
There we go.
Heroes on the Hudson, live on the Zone at the Edison Ballroom, 240 West 7th Street, 5:30 p.m. The doors open. You can get your tickets at telecharge.com. They include an open bar because why wouldn't they? Benefits, merchant bets.
Open bar is crazy. It's in New York. I don't know why they would do that in New York, but I said it.
They may lose money on this fight.
Man, they're going to get Guidos in there, and yeah, they're going to lose money on this deal. But all proceeds go to merging vets and players and the West Point Society as Heroes on the Hudson, courtesy of DiBella Entertainment. Tuesday, November 7th. Be there. Go ahead, Darren.
I was going to ask you, Champ, when you watch some of these older fighters or older fights, do you analyze it from like, all right, if I was in a ring, I would work low to high, double jab, right hand, here's what I want to do, or do you just watch it to absorb the greatness like when I see Hagler Hearns or something like that?
I actually watch it as if I'm watching it for the first time. I watch it to absorb, like you said, the greatness. I watch it to actually implement a lot of the old things that you may not see today. Like again with Wayne McCullough, his trainer was Eddie Futch. We all know Eddie Futch was a great trainer. If I'm being honest, I always felt like I was missing one thing out of my game, which is my tighter defense. So since I started training with Wayne, we've been implementing a lot more of that old school Eddie Futch type defense.
That's awesome.
To where I can fight. I can fight from mid range to a lot more comfortable in the pocket now. So those are the things that I watch, and then now when I see it, when I actually see it in those old fights, now I get to see exactly what they were doing now and understand it, and I'm like, oh, that's what he was doing. Okay, that's what he was setting up for. And because again, like with Wayne, he breaks it down like the reason why you can do this, or that is because they did it like this. So shout out to Wayne McCullough for that, for his great knowledge. And he's always said to me, you know, the thing with boxing is he wants to pass things down to the next generation, because someday I might teach kids or whatever in the gym. So I usually watch like a lot of the old fights to see, you know, just this really the sweet science of it, and I love it.
Yep, that's why we're here. That's because we love it, man. Yeah. It's great. Darren?
Well, yeah, as you stated earlier, sorry, I got a delay. I apologize. As you stated earlier, when you get done with your career, you're definitely interested in becoming the next Eddie Futch or Emmanuel Stewart, teaching the game. That's one of the things we like to do on our show is hopefully introduce a younger audience to the greatness of boxing and the sweet science. And, you know, if you get your foot on the outside, fighting a southpaw type of thing, and you're just a little small techniques.
And and even I have to give credit to you know, great trainers that passed away, such as Michael Stafford out of Cincinnati. Michael Stafford, when I first moved to Cincinnati, he kind of you know, grew me into fighting as more of a professional rather than an amateur. So I also have to give credit to Mike Stafford. He was a great trainer in his own right. He did a lot for the community of Cincinnati. we're still mourning the loss of Mike Stafford
Yeah.
and guys of that nature. So again, I mean, just look what Mike Stafford done for guys like Adrian Bronner, from a young kid, from a young troubled kid, and took him to the world title. Rasheed Warren, who I look up to dearly to this day. Rasheed Warren took me in as a brother with open arms when we came across each other on the Olympic team. And Rasheed Warren actually right now he's training kid. He's training kids in Cincinnati, taking on the mantle of Mike Stafford. So shout out to Rasheed Warren for doing that. I believe sometime December 23rd, they're holding an event down in Cincinnati in honor of Mike Stafford and all the great things he's done.
Nice.
So, yeah, so again, Cincinnati is a rich city of boxing. I'm actually glad to be adopted by Cincinnati. And hopefully, again, I'm dedicating this fight also to guys such as Mike Stafford, my aunt Lisa Ellaby, who's an Army veteran. I lost a good friend from the Marine Corps, Joey Canale, who I'm dedicating this to. So this fight means a lot. But again, like I said, even now just talking about it, it hits me that that Mike is gone because I just seen him right before my camp started, and me and Mike had a great conversation. So. I know that he's looking down on me and he's happy that I'm back in the mix of things.
Absolutely.
So it means a lot. But yeah, I learned a lot I learned a lot from guys like Mike Stafford, and guys like Brian McIntyre, Red Spike, Isaiah Dieguez, and the list goes on and on. So all those guys that I've came across in my past, I still remember, the lessons that they instilled in me to this day.
Now, my final question before we end our conversation, and I always love asking fighters this: do you remember your first ever street fight or school fight, and realized, hey, I'm pretty good at this?
No, I actually wasn't pretty good at this. I actually used to be a short kid, and I was bullied.
Oh, no way!
Yeah, I used to get picked on. I was a real short kid. I come from I didn't have. In that era, people went off based on what you had from your household to what your clothes you wore. I didn't have the best clothes. I didn't have the newest sneakers, so I used to always get picked on, and I was short. And I'll never forget, my father made me walk down to the bus stop. This was like the first grade.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, and these guys were maybe fourth graders and fifth graders, and my father made me fight each and every one of those kids. But at the end of the day, I earned their respect, and they never picked on me again from that day forward. But I was never really a fighter like that until I was maybe a teenager when I just tried out boxing, and I remember my first sparring session. I got a bloody nose, and I was sparring grown men, but I kept going back. I was never a quitter, so I always kept going back, and I stuck with it. And here we are today. Even now, when you guys see me on social media, I don't do a lot of jaw jacking. I don't like to argue with people. I don't like the confrontation. I look at boxing as a sport. Yes, it's a rough sport, but at the same time, I don't look at it as I'm not a mean guy. Even my daughter, I think my 10-year-old daughter, she's a lot meaner than me because she just got into a fight at school, and I'm like, no, you can't do this. But she looks at me and like, well, Dad, you told me I told you how to defend yourself. It doesn't mean that you always gotta. You always got to use it at the first side of conversation. So I think my daughter's a lot tougher than me at 10 years old than I was. But again, I was never that kid. I was more of the class clown. I just love to joke around and things like that. Even now, I still like to joke around and have fun with people. But yeah, I clearly remember my first fight, and it wasn't the best moment, but it stuck with me, and here I am today.
So that means what you're telling me is...
My daughter's 17. I tried to teach her boxing a long time ago. She's a southpaw. I was like, all right, double jab with the right hand, use your left. Okay, Dad. And then she never got to use it. So I was like, all right, at least that I instilled in you at an early age.
You can do it if you have to. If you have to, you still know it. So yeah.
All right, Jeff, I cut you off. Wrap us up, buddy.
You're good. I was going to say, so that means what you're telling me is there's some dude walking around Long Island that's going to show up to the Heroes at the Hudson fight and be like, yeah, I kicked that guy's butt when he way back in the day.
But try it now.
Yeah, exactly.
They won't try it now, though.
Let's go now. Exactly. Oh, man, Jamel, thanks so much for popping on with us. I'm going to show you my Sauce Gardner signed football right there. Show that to the camera. So yeah, we got some Jets action. Like I said, we'll be in New York. But yes, Heroes at the Hudson. Telecharge.com for tickets. November 7th, live New York City. Be streamed on DAZN, and you can watch this guy, the champ, the veteran. Thank you, sir, for all you do, for representing
Thanks,
New York
champ.
the way you
We're
do.
going to keep in touch and keep following you, and I would love to get to your trainer, the Pocket Rocket, on sometime.
We'll do it again. Anytime you guys need me, listen, after this fight, we'll get back on again. We'll do it again. I'm fine with that. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't mind. I would love talking to you guys again. So
you are amazing.
And hey, if you're at the Jets game, I'm going to come see you.
I got you, man. I got you.
Christmas Eve. All right. Thanks so much, Jamel Semper Fi Herring, the champ. Thanks so much for popping on with us. With all of that, we are about to wrap this thing up so we can go watch some Sunday Night Football, because that's what we do around here. So thanks to DiBella Entertainment. Thanks to Top Rank. Thanks for the Heroes at the Hudson event as we promote that live here on the Eating Leather podcast. Darren, final thoughts?
I'm fired up for his fight, and hopefully he will put on a great show. I know he will. He's not 10 years old anymore, so he's going to dominate, and we'll get him back on soon, and look forward to following the comeback. And he's so gracious and humble. It's been a blessing interview. Semper Fi.
Absolutely, man. Never forget. And yes, big props to the event. Big props to DiBella, and thanks so much for everyone popping on for this one. I am your host, Jeff Bowers. That is Darren Boyd. You can find us at youtube.com/thesportsnarrative. And, of course, for all things boxing, check out the Eating Leather podcast, as we will join you again very, very soon. Until then, be safe, be well, and have a great week. Contact the show via Twitter at Eating Leather Pod, or find us at sportsnarrative.net, your home for sports talk greatness.